In this video, we will learn how to explore the most powerful parts of NotebookLM, the studio panel. As we have learned in our last video, that creating our first NotebookLM notebook is very important and fairly easy to do, but it is also important to know how to use your notebook. And that's what we're going to learn in today's video. So let's start by opening our notebook and seeing where we left off last time. This is where your notes become podcasts, quizzes, flashcards, mind maps, reports, presentations, and much more. I'll explain every studio feature to show you how it works and help you decide when to use it. So let's jump right in. Here we can see the studio's sidebar. So once your notebook has finished processing your sources, you'll see the studio panel on the right. And every feature here takes the same information and transforms it into a different learning format. So let's go through them one by one. Let's start with audio overview. You can simply just start by clicking the arrow. Instead of reading your notes, NotebookLM turns them into conversational audio discussions. Think of it like listening to a podcast based completely on your own material. The best uses for this is when you're walking, driving, exercising, or doing something where your mind does not need to be proactively present. This is very easy to consume and great for revision, and it makes long notes easier to review. But it's important to keep in mind that it's still worth reading your own original material for complete understanding. And over here, you can choose separate formats for different uses. The deep dive is a lively conversation and it features two hosts. It connects your topics and unpacks different types of ideas within your topics that makes it more interesting and lively. The brief format is a bite-sized overview and it makes sure that no time is wasted and all the key points are listed. Whereas the critique is an expert review of your sources, and it's perfect for getting the greatest, deepest grasp of your topic and your specific research purposes. The debate is where two thoughtful individuals will highlight different perspectives of your source, helping you understand how different people can view a single source. So, every single individual has a different reason for their sources and therefore different formats. And always remember that you can add your own specific personalizations to these formats. So, sometimes the NotebookLM even gives you the different prompts for you to understand how you can personalize it. And the length and the language can also be personalized according to needs. Now, let's move on to video overview. It creates an AI generated visual explanation of your sources. And it is best for visual learners or classroom presentations or basically reviewing complex concepts or explaining topics. Since this feature is still evolving, the visualization and the narration may improve over time. So, until now, we have two formats where it has an explainer and a short. So, as you can see, this is a new format and it is much similar to the YouTube Shorts where you can find bite sized overviews to help you understand the core of your sources. And the explainer is a structured, comprehensive overview that connects the dots, right? And you can also personalize this by yourself, where you click custom topic and describe your own topic, or you can choose one of the topics generated by the AI. Now, let's move on to the slide deck. The slide deck is a fairly new feature, meaning that it can also evolve over time. This feature helps you start with a not very raw slide deck, meaning instead of starting from a blank presentation, NotebookLM can organize your materials into slides. And this is very good for students who want to organize a slide deck for their school projects, or it's a workplace type of thing where the workers try to do a team meeting and this can be your last or emergency option. The teachers can use this for teaching, as slide deck teacher helpers or student packs, and this can also be really good for business presentations. And the format is where all of this crucial changes lie. It all depends on which format you choose, whether it be a detailed deck where it provides full information and full details about your text, or whether it be presenter slides where it gives you cues to emphasize more on the topic. And then again, you can choose which language you want them to be in and how long you want them to be in. And you can also add even more personalizations depending on how you want your slide deck to turn out. Now, let's look into the reports feature. The reports feature is great for summarizing your sources into a structured document and is especially useful for research, revision, literary or literature reviews, project summaries, and much more for students, workplace employees, or teachers or corporate workers or any type of anybody really who wants or has sources and wants to generate a report. This specific feature has four different formats where you can specify your own format, or you can choose briefing, doc, study guide, blog post, depending on which type of use you want. And if you can't really understand which type of format you want, but you know it's definitely not the three of these, you can always look into suggested formats for a better idea. Now, let's look into the mind map feature. The mind map feature helps you generate a better visualization of the relationships between the ideas of your sources. This is really great for brainstorming or connecting concepts, or if you're a student planning essays or revising your topics, since it really helps you understand and remember the concepts better because you know the connections between them. And remember that you can always tweak and customize your mind map according to your needs, because you can always type in a very detailed or a very brief message for the AI to generate what you want. Then we have the quizzes. The quiz feature is very important for students or teachers who want to know where their students are or where the students themselves see themselves or how much they understand. And it's very good for active recall because you're not really simply just rereading notes, but you test yourself. You can do multiple choice, short answer, knowledge checks, any type of format you want because you can just type it in right here. And there are basic features where you can choose the number of questions or the level of difficulty that you want in these quizzes. Now, there's another feature called flashcards, which is especially useful for active recall without the stress of a quiz. Flashcards feature helps you um, understand how much of the topic you get and how much of the topic you don't. And it also helps you keep track of how much you understand, because after choosing the number of cards and level of difficulty, when it generates you the flashcards, you can keep track of how many you don't get and how many you do get. And in the end, it will generate a very in-depth review of what you need to improve and what you already have. Now let's move on to the infographic feature, where infographics turn information into visuals, but it's a little different from what you might expect. So let's see how an infographic is made. You can ask it to make a sketch note, animation, or any type of visual style that you please. And you can also ask it to make it at a level of detail. So for example, you can make it standard, very detailed, or very brief, depending on your uses. And you can also describe it in detail according to your focus or your vibe that you're going for. You can also choose the aspect ratio and language as available in all the features, and you can generate whatever type of, let's say in my opinion, clay infographic you want to make. Now, while it's generating, let's look into data tables. Data tables are if your sources contain structured information, NotebookLM can organize it into tables, which is very useful for comparison, statistics, research, or projects once you get into the official stage of studying or corporate or any type of business point of view of your sources. You can very easily make the most out of this feature. And again, you can choose your language and tailor it according to your specific needs. Now we have a tiny bit of comparison, right? All of these features are really good, but sometimes you need to know which feature you need to use. So if you want to listen to something or if you want to revise something quickly, then you could do the audio overview to understand it. And if you want to walk and just revise, then flashcards are the best for you because they're low stress, but you're also doing active recall. But if you really want to test yourself, then quizzes are really great. And understanding concepts is really useful with mind maps, but whereas presenting it to a class, you have to kind of do slide decks. Or you can present an audio overview or a video overview for the class to see your videos. And to summarize your research, a report is very useful, but a visual explanation would be a video overview or an infographic. And when you have to compare information, a data table is your best choice. Now, NotebookLM is not about replacing learning the traditional way, but it's about presenting the same information in different ways. Some people learn by reading, while others learn by listening, and others by testing themselves. And the studio panel gives you multiple ways to interact with the exact same material. And now that you know what every single studio feature does, the next step is learning how to get better results from NotebookLM. In the next video, I will share prompts, workflows, and strategies I use to make NotebookLM much more effective. So, if this video helped you, consider subscribing to Sri's Lab, and I'll see you in the next one. But before that, let's see how our infographic turned out. And as you can see, our infographic is a simple, nice poster which helps us pinpoint or kind of highlight all of the key details from my provided sources. And it looks really good because I chose clay, and as you can see, every single idea is outlined and very easy to read. So, I suggest really trying out NotebookLM and looking at my playlist that I've generated so far and understanding how to make the most out of it. So, see you in the next one. Bye.